That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet.
When you could not prove anyone right or wrong, all the expertise was contained in the people involved in the conversation.
We hope you enjoy our conversations, and as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, "That don't sound right," send us a comment. You're one of us. They'll say, "Tell me what some of your shows are about."
Yeah.
And we have 200 episodes, I blank every time.
I blank. I know. Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without Googling or fact-checking things online. Those things can so easily kill the conversation. And we live in an era where conversations are so easily killed.
That's true. But we try not to kill them. But I spent the entire weekend trying not to kill conversations in a very specific way.
How'd you do this?
So I was at a music festival.
Tell me about it.
Potentially the music festival.
Of the country?
Of the country, if not the world.
What's it called?
MerleFest.
MerleFest. And where does this occur?
North Wilkesboro. And it's a fundraiser, still a fundraiser for Wilkes Community College, even though it's a huge music festival.
Right. And it's a fundraiser.
But essentially it's a fundraiser.
Do we know how much they raise?
Christy asked that question. I don't know how much they raise.
Interesting.
I would think considerable amounts.
I
think 75,000 people attend, 80,000 people.
Whoa. But they have some big headliners.
They do.
Who's there? Do you know, do the musicians come? Do they donate their time and their talent for this anymore?
They get paid.
They used to.
They did it the first one.
The first one,
yeah,
okay.
The first one, yeah. After that, they have big artists there. I think the one people look for, one of the big artists this year was the Avett Brothers, of course.
Yeah.
But Bonnie Raitt was there Friday night. So if you like Bonnie Raitt, big deal.
So anyway, at this music festival, you were not killing the conversation. What were you doing?
Well, I work on a stage. And
you're a roadie?
I'm a roadie. No. Well, I'm a roadie without the road.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're stagehand.
They have real roadies, and then we're underneath those.
You're the understudy to the roadies.
We're the understudy to the roadies. So if the roadie needs something done, we do that.
I got you.
Usually it involves a lot of lifting and carrying.
Really?
But I meet a lot of people.
Right.
So, because during between sets, you're talking, you're meeting people and talking to people as people coming and going. You're just meeting a lot of people.
Right.
So I decided for this particular weekend that I was going to introduce myself as a podcaster.
That's it. Because what do you usually introduce? Do you usually introduce yourself as a pharmacist?
Right. Because inevitably somebody says, "What do you do?" They'll say, "What do you do?" And then you say, "I'm an engineer for Volvo."
Right.
But I decided going in that I would introduce myself as a podcaster each time someone asked me what I did.
No kidding.
Yep.
Is this the first time you ever done that?
This is the first time I've ever done that.
Well, so
I meant to do it at a wedding a few weeks ago, and I forgot to do that.
All right.
Which led to questions of, about podcasting. And then eventually they would ask the question, "How do you make money?" And I would say, "Well, I don't make money podcasting. Right. I kept my day job."
That's right.
That's how I support the podcast.
Right.
But it really did lead to a lot of interesting conversations.
What was the most interesting conversation? Or what was the most interesting question someone asked you about podcasting?
About podcasting?
Yeah.
They want to know how regularly you do it.
Okay.
And so that's always a big question is how often do you do it?
Yeah.
How long have you done podcasting? The weird thing that I can't answer on the fly.
Yeah.
I want to see if you have the same issue. They'll say, "What's your podcast about?" Right?
Yeah.
And you can say, "Well, our podcast is about talking the way we did before the internet," right?
Right.
But they'll say, "Tell me what some of your shows are about."
Yeah.
And we have 200 episodes, I blank every time.
I blank. I know. We really need to, this is something you and I need to practice, that we need to know some of our favorites. Because that's one question I get asked. What are some of your favorite episodes? Mm-hmm. And then the other ones are like, what are some examples of your topics and what do you talk about? Right?
Yeah, I blank every time. And so I always go back to the car episode being stolen. That's the one I can remember.
That's a good one. That's one of our origin stories.
I should just think chicken. And I should be able to come up with 5 or 6 just off the chicken.
Yeah, they're going to think you're a horticulture podcast.
I was going to say listener number 1, because you've done several things with him, going to bee conventions,
So that's
chicken
our
chickens.
barista
Hey, Camille.
saying that one way to
Wow.
trigger this would just be to think about listening to
Right,
one.
because he has a variety of topics that he's brought to us.
Yep. But I should be able to come up with more. And that I blank every time somebody say, tell me some episodes. And I'm just like, we have a bunch. And
My go-to is the one where we get the church cookbooks out and we look through the recipes on aspic, gelatinous molds, and asparagus.
I need to have like 5 in my head. I can usually get the last one after I think about it for a minute.
We probably just need to remember, maybe a help for us is to think of the categories. So we got a category of chickens.
Right.
We got a category of outdoor adventures.
Right.
We got a category of vehicles.
Yes.
We have a category of
trains.
We have a category of we're over-teched, over-watered, and over-iced.
I've got it now. Next time I'm going in, I'm going to have that list in my head.
That's all you need.
The other thing I learned this week, and this is what we're going to talk about tonight, and the thing that didn't sound about this is I didn't know there was an entire, you can make a career out of this next thing. They are called VOGs.
Yeah.
Or VOG announcements.
All right.
You ever heard of that?
No, I have not.
Would you like to know what the VOG is?
Tell me, VOG?
The voice of God announcements.
All right.
And those are the ones that you would hear as you're walking through the airport and you hear the announcement. Has anyone had your bags besides you? Did you pack your bags? And it's just that kind of announcement that's on.
FAA regulations say that you must maintain control of all your bags. Please report any suspicious activity to the nearest TSA agent.
Yes.
That kind of thing.
Right. So that's not just some guy at the airport reading a script. That is a paid, more likely, it's been paid voice actor.
It's been pre-recorded.
It's been pre-recorded.
But you're saying there's a voice actor who got paid to do this.
Yes. Right. So I met someone who is a voice of God.
You met one?
Yeah.
You met a voice of God?
It wasn't his full-time gig, but there are
he must be like a podcaster.
Yeah, he does a podcast. He worked with sound, but he also did VOGs.
No, so did he sound like the airport?
Yeah, he had a good voice.
Did he have?
You'd have to have a good voice.
You do, but that's the thing is when you I always wondered about running into one of these guys or gals that have this voice that you would hear in the airport. What would they sound like in person? Yeah, I always wondered what it'd be like to meet somebody who has that announcer voice. Could I tell? Would I say, "Oh, that guy is an announcer"? And we have somebody at our church who does the announcements for the local football game.
He's got a good voice.
He does have a good voice. I would not have immediately put him in the stadium.
Yeah, I think because there's an announcing voice.
I think you do change your intonation. You change your tone.
Right.
You change slightly.
And you're probably not talking as loudly.
Right.
As you would for an announcement. So you may not pick up on it initially. But I have met people that have like radio voices.
Yeah.
That sound like radio voices. Now, I don't know if they had a career in radio, but I have met people I'm like, wow, their voice is really carries.
Right. Yeah.
It really sounds good.
My brother-in-law, he has a voice like that, and he's done a voiceover thing.
Did he?
For some? I forgot what the video was, but he did a narration of something. Is that the same kind of thing?
Yeah,
someone who narrates, say, there's
like a corporate
or a commercial. There's a narrator. You see images, and there's someone narrating what you see.
Well, I guess all those are voice actors.
Yeah, there are voice actors, but this voice of God sounds something specific.
Different. So I think of the airport announcement.
For sure.
Anything on public transit where they're saying something over and over again, like.
You think there's a voice actor that they pre-record the bus stops on all the buses?
Yeah.
Next stop.
Yeah, I would think so. The one
Ames Mall Boulevard.
Oh yeah, the ones that are repeat. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Now I did hear an interesting one in Vegas one time at the Paris Hotel. It was a woman's voice. So if you went to the men's bathroom, they had one of these voiceovers, and it was teaching you phrases in French.
Oh, of course, in the Paris Hotel.
Yeah,
right. Okay.
Yeah, in the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
Right, in the bathroom. There was this over the just an announcement that was kind of on a loop that would do that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another voiceover.
You said like at the mall. Of course, I haven't been. Have you been into a mall in the last 20 years?
Yes, I've been doing
Have you? I haven't.
Have you not been to the Hayes Mall for any
I
reason?
could not tell you
For any reason.
For any reason. I don't think I've set foot in that mall.
There's a
15 or 20 years.
There's a good tailor there.
Is there?
There is a
Food court people.
food court. There's a post office.
Okay, I take that back.
All
I
right.
have been to the post office.
There we go. But you probably haven't gone into the inner workings of the
No.
mall.
Well, the post office is on the edge.
It's on the edge. You haven't gone into the bowels of the mall.
No, no.
You would hear this voice saying, but what would they say?
I don't know that I've heard it at the.
I feel like you hear voices at the mall. Maybe it's just me.
Well, the one
People calling out food.
Yeah, but no, this is the voice of God type of announcements of the store is about to close.
Yeah, that would be one.
Although that's usually one of the local employees getting on the microphone saying,
If it's live,
attention. In 10 minutes, the store will be closing.
Yes.
Please proceed to the nearest checkout. Again, the store will be closing in 10 minutes.
That's an amateur.
Thank you.
That's an amateur doing that.
Well, right. But it's part of their job.
Now, the person I was talking to where they did this is for theaters, like play theaters.
Okay, all right.
Tanger.
Right.
And so they have a whole set of announcements or the Stevens Center. I think I've heard it at Stevens Center.
Reynolds, RJ Reynolds High School, the big auditorium there. They've got
pre-recorded.
It's pre-recorded.
It's probably a voice actor.
It's definitely a voice actor.
So that's what they're called, Voice of God announcements. And you can make a career out of it, or at least a side gig out of it.
Yeah, I wonder how you get into that business.
I would think it's got to be. I don't know. I don't know how big these things are now.
I wonder if you can go on one of these gig economy websites where people are posting. I need somebody to do this. I need someone to voice over this. Can you? And then, or you can put your services. I'm a voiceover actor or voice actor. I can do this, and you can put a sample on there.
Yeah. Well, there was a guy who he played a character on John Boy and Billy's Big Show.
Yeah.
I am 99% sure I saw him in a corporate training film doing voiceovers.
Oh, the same guy. The same guy, but he was doing.
Yeah, he played a character.
Which character?
Rayford.
Robert D. Rayford?
Yep.
Of the John Boy and Billy Show?
Yep. 90%.
No way.
99% sure.
No way.
He did a voiceover for corporate.
Did he?
Because I saw his face. Yeah. No. He was very, very professional. That's what I'm saying. He played this character on John Boy and Billy, but when I saw him do the corporate thing.
So you've seen his face before.
Right. He had his face on the corporate thing doing it.
Okay.
And I'm 99% sure it was Robert Rayford. So obviously he was, they had this character, but then he also had this side gig.
Right.
And I could, maybe I'm wrong, but it looked like him and sounded like him, just in a more professional way.
Right. Yeah. So Reynolds Auditorium, there's a voice there. Museums, that's another place.
Now that I think about it, you'd also have to do like telephone trees too.
Oh, you think?
But do you think all of this is now in danger of going to AI?
Absolutely.
Why do you think that?
Absolutely. Well, and I've got just the example. Okay. So at my daughter's lacrosse field, we're at the old Bolton soccer field. So there's no real infrastructure. Mm-hmm. There's no PA system.
Yeah.
And what they usually do is they bring this oversized boom box.
Okay.
And they have a microphone that they can use. And the sound's terrible, and no one really has the guts to go over and do it. Mm. And so usually there's no announcements. Mm. But this year, there's a laptop. And what they've done in there is they've programmed all the names and the numbers for both the visitors and the home teams. And so when there's a score, the person at the scoring table just has to hit a couple buttons. And then this voice comes over. RJ Reynolds goal, number 11, Charlotte Bielman. And it's all AI generated voice. And then he pushes another button at halftime. Fans, don't forget, there's concessions. We sell peanuts, candy, Pepsi, and several flavors of Gatorade.
Do you think there was a voice actor that recorded words, or do you think that this is all computer generated?
I think it's all computer generated.
That's incredible.
I think it's all computer generated.
So you
And as a reminder, the school system is tobacco free, so please refrain from smoking or chewing tobacco.
I didn't even know this industry of voice of God announcements existed, and now it's getting ready to be wiped out.
Yeah, I don't see why it would not be wiped out. And the thing is, you can definitely tweak pronunciations if they're wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, our name, Beelman, often is pronounced Beilman, but the AI got it right. And so the thing is, you can write in all the names of the visiting team. And so you just hit a button. West Forsyth Titans goal. And they can even control the tone. Like it's really excited for when the home team scores. And it's just ho-hum when the visiting team scores.
Yeah.
They have it tuned just that way. I mean, poor, our friend who does this, he could be out of a job.
I don't think you could get, I wonder if, because you have what they call the color commentator.
Yeah.
Commentator, it's like just giving the stories and stuff. I wonder if you'll be able to get that far with it eventually.
I doubt that. I mean, because that's someone, this is just facts.
Yeah, but
you can report the facts.
So right now you can get those glasses, you can get smart glasses, and the glasses will watch a meeting for you and then feed you questions that you need to ask in the meeting.
I have not seen this.
Yeah. It's fascinating. But not only that, there's also the programs that you can have that aren't the glasses that just add onto your computer that will record a meeting for you and give you your notes back. You've seen that.
We have that. We have that at work. It'll actually, it'll give us a transcript,
right?
Which doesn't do a great job, but then it can take that transcript and boil it down to some of the main points, the main actions, and
right.
Yeah. No,
that's what I'm saying is you've already got stuff that's looking at meetings, recording it, giving you transcripts, and able to feed you back questions.
Yeah.
It can't be that far before you have cameras on the field that are able to.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, it'll come, but I don't think we're not there right now.
No.
Right now,
we're not there right now.
It can just report facts.
We could be replaced, Peter, on the podcast. Our podcast, we could just have AI.
How do you know it's not already AI?
It could already be AI. We use AI for editing.
Yeah, what is it? But what does it really do for us? What have you?
Right, well, our AI editing, I think, really goes through and takes out spaces.
Yeah. Does it really take out the ums?
Yeah, it takes those things out.
I know it takes out the spaces and it really cleans up the background noise.
And it equalizes the volume.
Yeah, it equalizes our volumes. This sounds great.
That's what our AI does. There are more advanced AIs where we could go in and have a transcript of our conversation and then edit it like in a Word document, and it would go back and fix the sound.
Yeah.
Those are the more advanced editors. We're not to that point yet, but.
Well, ours will produce a transcript, won't it?
Right, but I'm saying it will produce a transcript and allow you to edit the transcript, and then it will correct the voices. So, like, if we want to take something out, you could go and delete it in the text document. And it would go out, and then it would make the repairs.
So, if I said the wrong name, and then we could look at the transcript. Oh, you said the wrong name, Peter. Mm-hmm. You could change the words in the transcript, and it'll change my voice.
Well, it'll correct it, yeah. Or
it'll
add
change.
it in.
It'll change the words that I physically said.
Yeah.
Replace it with my voice saying the correct words.
That's what
which tells me then we could just type in the whole transcript and it can read it.
We could just write it down.
That sounds like a lot of work.
That's more work than we're currently doing.
Yeah, no, this is good. This is good. How do these voiceover actors, especially voice of God, how do they charge? Did he tell you how he charged?
That's what I wonder if you do it like by the word or by the gig or your own retainer. You work for a company and they just.
Well, that's a good question, especially the retainer thing. Because I know at Volvo, we have a certain person who does all of our voiceover for our promotional videos. It's the same voice.
And they're paid by Volvo. They're paid by Volvo.
I don't know if Volvo pays for him or the advertising agency hires him, but he is our voice.
The voice of Volvo?
Voice of Volvo Trucks North America. It's a specific voice. But you've experienced this too. Remember the Chevy commercials, Like a Rock?
Yeah.
it was the same guy.
Yeah.
It was always the same guy.
Right.
So it's once you get your voice, when someone gets your voice and attaches it to their brand,
Right.
that's where the money is.
But now you could do it by AI. You wouldn't have to pay anybody.
Right.
You could create whatever voice you wanted.
You could create any voice that you wanted and attach it make that your brand. Man.
We've only been podcasting like for 4 years now, and our whole podcast could be in jeopardy from AI.
I mean, this extra source of income is about to fly out the window, isn't it?
That's all I know about these announcements. So I think you've come to the end of another episode, another live episode.
Yes.
A real person episode.
That's right. Before we close, both Cecil and I would like to thank you for listening. If this is the first time you've ever listened, please consider hitting the subscribe button on the platform you listen with. Also, if you're a longtime listener, please give us a rating or leave us a review so others can easily find us and join the conversation.
We picked up some new listeners over the...
So as a result of you introducing yourself as a podcaster, did you get more listeners or did we lose some?
We gained some listeners because it's very hard not to follow someone's podcast when they're sitting there staring at you, telling you that they're a podcaster.
That's right. And you tell them it's on Apple.
Right. Let me look it up.
Let me show you how to
follow
get there. That's right.
So we did pick up some new listeners. And
new listeners from MerleFest, if you're listening, welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. We're coming up on our 200th. In fact, we're coming up on our 200th episode. So that'll be another big mark. And we've talked about this the last couple of weeks. We're also bumping up against 30,000 downloads. So that'll be a big day too. All right. That Don't Sound Right is a production of TDSR Podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I'm your co-host and sound engineer, Cecil. Peter is your other host and your web designer, and you've used some AI in your web design. Yeah, some of the images to represent our episodes. I get AI to do that. Sometimes we get 6 fingers and 3 arms, but we know how to correct for that. Camille is our barista. Emily does our graphic design. Ella does our Instagram. Giorgio tests our merchandise. Brent is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number 1 is
Scott.
So until next week, keep talking
and stay curious.